Hi, my name is James Shields, and I'm the CEO of School Signals. I'd like to introduce you to our platform, give you a brief tour, talk a little bit about the problem we're solving with School Signals. The gist of it is that in the year 2026, there's a lot of school communication happening. There are a lot of tools out there. Different classes, different grades are using different tools. Sometimes the elementary school is using different tools than the middle school. Uh, it can be all over the place. Different chat clients for different purposes, different notifications. It becomes a very wide, fractured, scattered landscape of possibilities. And what we're trying to do with School Signals is to help organize that, help unify that, create an umbrella that creates a home base for your school online so that you don't have to tell parents to check this app for this or this app for that. They can just check School Signals. Everything is right there, whether it's for events, whether it's for groups after school, whether it's for the classroom. It's all in one place, easy. And so let's take a look. Let's dive in. I'm logged in here as a school admin, so I can see everything that I have available to me in terms of features. I can go into my teacher accounts, my student accounts, my parent accounts. I can see everything in here. But let's go really into what is the core of the platform, and that is the school feed. And the school feed is acting like a timeline for what's going on in your school community. Everything that is happening in your school would show up in your school feed, whether it's events, volunteering opportunities, photo galleries. Everything shows up here in a time-ordered way. Of course, you can pin a post if there's something that's important that's happening that you want everybody to see. With School Signals, if you're making a post, you can choose the audience who's going to see your post. Is it only a teacher, staff only, for instance, or is it just for high school or for a particular grade level? Is it just for a classroom or is it just for a group? And you can likewise schedule your posts. So if you don't want to go out late at night when you're working, when you shouldn't be working, have it go out the following morning. You can do that. If you want to use AI to help write your posts, helps get you started. End of school year party, face painting. Uh, for the kids. I'm just messing this up. All right, for the kids, games for the older students. I'm gonna just send it to AI really quick, and it basically creates a draft for me to like further edit, and that's the idea. So it helps you move things along. So with School Signals, when you're making a post, everything goes out as it goes out potentially as an email or as a mobile app push notification. Users decide how they want to receive and the frequency they want to receive, but basically a standard post is email and mobile push notification. We take that a step higher with something called a priority post. In a priority post, that's going to be either sent as a text message or as a voice call or as both a text and a voice call, and that's for more timely things where maybe there's picture day tomorrow. You want to make sure the reminder gets out to everybody. Things like that. And these posts can have photos, you can attach a video, you can attach documents to them. Now, we do have one step higher than a priority post, and that's for something that's more urgent. We call it a critical alert. And in that case where there's a severe weather or a dangerous person or something going on that meets one of these listed criteria that comes straight from the FCC, then we can basically push beyond, people's settings for notifications and make sure they get the message. What's nice about our posts, and particularly for a critical alert, is it creates a post in our system. And so people receive a link, they click it, they get more information about what's happening there, and they can even ask follow-up questions if they need more information. And you can make updates to it without having to create a new post. So in our system, you can make it so parents can reply to posts, or you can make it so replies aren't allowed, or you can make it so replies are allowed, but then they get held for approval, and you get notifications, and you would approve them or not approve them. And then we also have a concept in our system We are hosted on AWS. Been working with them for a long time, and we use a system called AWS Guardrails, and that makes it so the content that's being posted can go through different degrees of filtering, and we can decide, or the system decides, like, is it appropriate, not appropriate, and you can turn that off, or you can set that to low or high, and it's just an extra level of making sure that stuff that is posted is the right type of content for your platform. So in our system, you have feed posts like this. You also have photo galleries, and the idea here is you don't have to, send parents to Instagram. You can just send them to School Signals, and they can have the similar type of experience where they can like a post and they can leave a comment. And these photos that are posted can be posted just to certain grade levels and classrooms, and only people who should have access to these photos will have access to the photos. It's not a full everybody can see everything and that kind of stuff, unless you post it to school-wide, and then it is. But you could certainly just have a classroom gallery that's only available to the parents in a particular classroom. So in our system, we have the school feed, but we also have a concept of pages. And pages is for more static content that's not going to change over time. That's maybe content that is going to be good for a whole semester or a whole school year, or maybe just for a month or however long. But it's not going to be so timely where it's going to show into a feed, because while the feed is great, things do move over time, and you can of course search your feed and you can look for date ranges and audience types, but the pages is a way of having like more content that's not as timely. These feed posts could be temporal, ephemeral. They can kind of go over time. They go away. We also have a document management platform. This allows you to put all your documents in one place, and you can have folders within folders, customize it however you want. We have online forums, and this is to replace having to go to different form platforms that are out there. So everything's within the system. The users are already your users, whether it's for a permission slip or feedback form or ordering for lunch or a contact, all sorts of different types of forms here that you can create. We have a template gallery that you can work from to use to leverage. And one of the great things about the forums is that with a forum you can set who the audience is, and then when you set the audience, you can also set like whether it's required and due date, and then parents will automatically get reminders that they need to fill it out by a certain date. Of course, we also have a school directory where you can see who the parents are in different grades, and I'll show you in a sec, but parents have controls over what information of theirs are they going to be sharing. So parents have a lot of control on how they receive notifications and what they share. So one of the big differentiators about our platform is an architectural one, and that is we have a concept called a communication hub. And a communication hub takes those other features that I was looking at in terms of a feed, in terms of a calendar, in terms of events. Events is in our system. We have two different concepts with our calendar. One is an entry, and that's sort of Wacky Tuesday or something is an entry. But then we have a concept of an event where you might have attendance required, you might have volunteering required, and events show up in the calendar, but they also show up in this events section. And events can have RSVP. So if you want to know who's going to be coming to the event, you can, basically figure out. People can RSVP to your event, and so our communication hubs basically bundle the various features, whether it's calendars and events and volunteering and pages and document management and forums and members and galleries, all into like a bundle for a particular group. And it can be any kind of parent group that you would like to create. Could be a staff-only group. Also, similarly, our classrooms feature has the same communication hub happening for our classroom. So every classroom, whether it's going to be your 7th grade science class, subject level classrooms, or the whole 2nd grade is maybe one classroom, can have their news and updates, an info page. They can have their calendar with what's going on in their school in their that month. They can have event management just for that class. They can have volunteering opportunities just for that class. Same with pages, like a Meet the Teacher page. They can, their daily schedule page. And they can have their own document management just for the classroom, their own forms just for the classroom. It could be feedback, could be waiver for something, could be a field trip that's just for the class. And then obviously they can have their own member directory and their own galleries just for the classroom. One more category of communication hub we have is for clubs and programs, and this is for things like the basketball team, where they can have their schedule. The basketball teams can have games, which are basically their what's happening. For a basketball, every game could be an event effectively, and every event might have a different location. It may have volunteering that's just for that particular game, whether that's a concession stand helper or somebody helping with traffic or parking. And every club and program, they might have forums, they might have documents, and they have members that can be managed by the admin. So you can just assign who the students are, and then the parents automatically are joined into the group. It could be for pretty much any type of club or program activity that might be out there. And again, they can have their own volunteering opportunities. They can have their own forums and their own document management. And then, so we have groups, classrooms, and one thing about the classrooms is if we have an integration with your SIS system, whether it's like a PowerSchool or a fax, we can automatically import all the parents, all the students, all the teachers, and the classes. So we can automatically create these classes and then assign the students we know who are in which, and then therefore we can automatically put the parents in the classrooms. And that makes it easier when they sign up and they get their invitation email from our system. They automatically see what classrooms that they have access to based on who their students are. So with our calendar, that's sort of a nexus for like what's going on in the school, and you can subscribe to the calendar so that your Google or your Outlook calendar gets updated with what's going on in your school signals calendar. We have a couple other features I wanted to quickly run through. One is called conferences, and this is for basically parent-teacher conference management. So it's an easy way for a school to set up Thursday and Friday we have parent-teacher conferences and allow each teacher to come in and kind of set their schedule. And then when parents sign up, they can be asked to answer some questions in a form. And likewise, you can have some follow-up correspondence with the teacher before the call. And if we don't do video hosting, so we don't do video streaming, with regards to meetings, and but if you use a service like Zoom, you can always copy that Zoom link in for a teacher's conference so that they have a direct link that's private for a virtual meeting. So we try to support that. We don't do the virtual meetings internally yet, but we support if that's something that is wanted. Another big component of what we're doing is volunteering management. And volunteering management just is simply a scheduling system for setting up whether there's an opportunity to volunteer at your school, whether it's for a year-round position or whether it's for a specific event and has specific tasks that are at that event. And that could be all sorts of different possibilities there. What we don't have today, but we will have this summer, is a background management, background checking management system so that you can flag different events as this event requires level 2, which means they can interact with students, or this event, this volunteering opportunity is level 1, and that's somebody maybe in the parking with traffic, and that is a different tier but still requires some kind of background check. So that's coming this summer. One thing that is really important in our system is if I wanted to, I quickly need to grab somebody and get a hold of them and send them a message, we have an integrated chat client. And that's where I'm saying, architecturally, we're different than a lot of the applications out there in that we have an integrated chat client. So if I want to reach somebody, I just click on their name, or I go to the directory, I click on their name, I click this message button here, and all of a sudden I'm chatting. And that's one of these things where immediately I can have a chat with a parent, with a teacher, or with parent to parent if you have that turned on. And these are chats that are meant to be more of a temporary situation. If it's for organized conversations, those should be in feeds, whether they're in your group feed or your classroom feed. But for just quick conversation, quick touch and base, that's what chat's for. I should say that as a school admin, I have access to all chats. I can see everything that's going on in my chat. I can get a transcription of the chat. And it's for transparency, for auditing. And these chats, users are informed when they first use the system that these chats are monitored by school admins, and that this is for a school chat. This isn't a private chat for a rebellion or some other type of topics that are outside the school. This is really for school only. So let me just jump over quickly to show as a parent. So as a parent, if I'm here and I am looking at my feed, I see only what I can see. If I'm allowed to post to the feed as a parent, I can only post to what I have access to post to, like my own classroom or groups that I'm a member of. And I wanted to jump over to chat. So if I look here as a chat, I can go to my chats, just all integrated within the application. A lot of systems chats are, they force you into a different application or take you somewhere else. You got to log in. Ours is all internal. So I can have group chats, I can have individual chats, and I can like chats, and that's the beauty of the situation there. I have it all here, and this is all working on my phone just as well as working on my desktop and my laptop. We have an iOS app, an Android app, and the idea is that it's the same tools and same features, and while it's presented differently on a mobile screen in a mobile app, it should all be basically the same and familiar to you. So a couple more things I wanted to run into or run through really quick is as a parent, if I want to, I can control the visibility of the information I have shown here. So maybe I want to show everything in my profile, but maybe I want to hide my address, or maybe I want to hide my email address or my phone number. I've got lots of control here in terms of what I want to show and not show. If I need to block users, I can block users. In terms of notifications, I can determine how I want to receive the notifications. So what I was saying before is the feed post pushes out email and pushes out mobile app push, but can also push out SMS and voice calling. But I can determine as a user, first I can opt into things like the text and the voice, but I can determine whether I want to receive email notifications instant, daily, or not at all. And the same with the mobile app that can be instant or not. And I can have categories of the types of content that I would be receiving information about, and I can control how I want to receive in the frequency about that. I can choose whether I want to be even available for chats. And then for system notifications likewise. And then I can also opt in to receive a weekly digest. And a weekly digest is basically a summary of what's going on in the week in terms of like the posts that happened throughout the week. And maybe I want that also, just as a refresher in case I missed something. Or maybe I don't want anything here, but I want the weekly digest, and keep track of what's happening here. We also have an ability to switch the whole application language to Spanish. So if Spanish was my language, I can switch to Spanish, and everything all of a sudden is in Spanish. And that's the whole UI, that's the navigation, that's the content, that's all the features. And then, of course, I can switch it back to English, but I can pick any other language out there, and we can add them as needed, different languages, and those languages we support for the chat, and we support for the feed post, and then the messaging that goes out, and the phone calling, all that automatically translates. The Spanish is different in that it changes the actual UI of the application and the menus and things like that. We have a support center. In the support center, we have a chat client, so if you have questions, you can just ask in a way, and the AI queries our knowledge base and provides you the answer, quickly, efficiently. Um, you can also ask other AIs that are out there questions, whether it's ChatGPT or Grok, and they will also query our public knowledge base for answers to questions. You can reach a person also if the answer isn't what you're looking for. So there's always that option. And then for security, multi-factor authentication, and when we also have abilities to update your profile if you want to talk about your interests or even upload family photos to share more. That's always possible. So that is a glimpse of our system. I think I've covered a lot of our features. Of course, we have more features on the way. We have several big features rolling out this summer. One of them is called Student Portfolios. That's going to be sort of a feed in a sense, but it's just for the parents of a student. And so that will allow teachers from across the school or staff to make posts that are specific to a student, not a class or a group, but just for the student, and then it goes to just those students' parents. And so it's a way to kind of share positivity, share positive communication about what's happening for that student in the school. And also if you have particular information that you just want to send to that particular parent and you don't want to use the chat, you want to have something that's more organized in terms of the communication. So I wanted to basically say that what we're doing here is we're providing organization to the communication. We're providing unifying umbrella to all the different types of communication that you might be needing at your school, and School Signals becomes your home base for communication. So parents and staff and teachers don't have to juggle multiple apps. They can just come right here and check out what's happening and find out what's happening with their school community, and that's the idea. I appreciate all the time you've spent listening to me talk through the application. I would be really happy to schedule a call with you to walk through it in more specific detail. If you have any particular questions or aspects you want to look into further, please schedule time with me. I have a Zoom scheduler link. You can go to our website, fill out a contact form. We'll be in touch with you right away. There may also be a blue Get Demo button. If you click that, that'll launch the same form. Appreciate it very much. We'd love to bring School Signals to your school communities and start helping to organize and unify all the communication that you may already be doing, but it's just all over the place. So let us help, and we're here to support you. So thank you very much.